back in 2019, so that's a long time ago now. I want to welcome you to this ceremony where we come to honor the students who have worked so hard to complete their degrees. We also pay tribute to the parents, spouses, partners, families, and friends, as well as faculty, alumni, and generous donors, who too made this wonderful occasion possible for the students who are graduating today. And perhaps those graduating today would like to express their appreciation to their loved ones now with a round of applause. I furthermore want to thank the staff of the English department who worked so hard all year round, and especially for this occasion. And I'm going to call your names, and I can't see you because of the lights. Is there a way to bring these house lights down just a tad? And then maybe you can either stand up, or if you're already standing, wave so that people can recognize you. So first up is Val Lacey, our department administrator. Dee Lopez, our senior scheduling coordinator and honors advisor. Susan McAllister, our program specialist and assistant director of creative writing. Ryan Davis, our receptionist and webmaster. Keelan O'Reilly, our new graduate advisor. And I don't know if she's in the room, Marie Bell, our fiscal tech and current refreshment guardian. So give them a round of applause. Thank you.
No, it's okay.
It is my great privilege to welcome my colleagues here as well. They are the reason you, the students, are in this department in the first place. Let's clap for them on the stage. And at this point, I always get to give a shout out to our great teachers in the department, and almost every year we garner teaching awards. And this year, the recipient of the Online Teaching of the Year award is Professor Tiffany Burrell. And if that is not enough, she also received an honorable mention for the College of Arts and Sciences Teaching Excellence Award. And Jessie Bonafede won the College of Arts and Sciences Teaching Excellence Award for Teaching Assistants. We will now go to the next part of the program, and we will begin this momentous occasion with a short speech by our alumnus, Brian Jones. Then announce our annual graduate and undergraduate awards, and then end by presenting certificates to the graduates and perform hoodings where appropriate. So it is my greatest pleasure and privilege to introduce our graduation speaker, New York Times best-selling biographer and historian Brian J. Jones. Mr. Jones is a 1989 graduate from our department, where he earned a BA and specialized in English Romanticism. We for sure thought that Mr. Jones had a PhD, given his impressive achievements, and we gave him one in the program. Nevertheless, Mr. Jones accomplished his outstanding publication career with a BA in English. As a biographer, Brian is known for covering iconic creative geniuses who have made indelible contributions to pop culture. His first book, Washington Irving, was acclaimed as a definitive biography of American literature's first popular author and pop culture icon. Jim Henson, the biography, was chosen as the best biography of 2013 by Goodreads, as well as one of the year's top 10 books by CNN viewers. Mr. Jones's 2016 biography, George Lucas, Alive, was the first comprehensive biography of the influential creator of Star Wars and Indiana Jones in nearly 2 decades, and was praised as definitive by the New York Times. His most recent book, Becoming Dr. Seuss, Theodore Geisel and the Making of an American Imagination, has been lauded as nuanced, profoundly human by NPR, and compelling and sweeping in scope by The New Yorker. In 2010, Brian Jones was awarded the St. Nicholas Society of New York's Medal for Literary Excellence, joining a distinguished list of medal recipients. Brian Jones and his work have been featured on Morning Show, The Daily Show with Jon Stewart, Today, The Diane Rehm Show, Tavis Smiley, and MSNBC's The Cycle, as well as in numerous documentaries. Currently, Mr. Jones manages executive communications for President Stokes. Please warmly welcome Brian Jones.
So good afternoon. Thanks so much for that introduction, Professor Orr. I am so happy and so proud to be here with you today with my people. Dr. Obermeyer didn't mention that she currently occupies the tenure track occupied by the late Professor Joe Zavadil, who was a great mentor of mine when I was here. I had him for 4 different classes. He really taught me the value of the power of voice, how to find your own voice as a writer. And indulged me in a lot of bad habits, not necessarily trying to get me to overturn them, but try to refine them. So if you're seeing any communications from the president that have a proper use of the M dash, that was probably me writing that. So, I spent an awful lot of time in his office with him, just flapping, as he called it, love to talk. And he gave me one of his Vanaver editions of the Mortar. There you are, Arthurian historians here. If you know that's the real deal. Like, he gave me his copy of that book. And it's to my eternal regret I never had him sign it. So he passed away shortly after I left here in 1989, which was approximately 1 million years ago. 1989, UNM was 100 years old. I was 21. My in-state tuition per semester was $444. And we bitched about that, thinking it was far too high. We were so mad, we even occupied the president's office. And the irony of that is that's the office I sit in today. But I was the ultimate arts and science student. I was an English major, and I was a biology minor. I was the night editor for the Daily Lobo. For all 4 years I was here. I did not write much at the Lobo. I mostly oversaw production. And this was in the days when we actually literally cut up copy with X-Acto knives and then used wax to glue them to the page so we could then take it downtown and have it printed and distributed. I wrote my final papers on the brand new fancy Apple IIe computers, where the letters were green against a light green background, which is why it's no wonder my eyes are so terrible today, I think. But I was and am always a very proud product of the UNM English Department. We had the best teachers, we had the best books, and we had the courses with the cleverest names. Now my track was mostly on the literature side, not the language side. To this day, I cannot diagram a sentence. I cannot identify the parts of speech. I was the king of the 8 a.m. class, mostly because that was the only time you could take Chaucer or Milton when I was here. But always, and I'm sure you're going to see heads nodding in agreement here, even the kindest, most well-intentioned people would constantly say to me, an English degree? What do you plan to do with that? One friend of mine thought that I must come from a wealthy family with my own trust fund because surely no self-respecting parents would ever let their child major in something as impractical as an English degree. Impractical. So let me tell you, I promise you will have the last laugh at that one. People think English is easy because it's mostly reading and writing, something everyone does every day. And since our reliance on the internet has now put a keyboard in everyone's hand, I'll tell you, everyone's a writer now, right? And oof, let me tell you from experience, do not ever read your Goodreads reviews of that version. But we know better. I drive a car to work every day. Doesn't make me a NASCAR driver. We know that what we do here takes work, and it takes training, and it takes muscle memory of a very specific kind. It takes patience, and it takes enthusiasm. Sometimes it takes a bit of self-punishment. Only English majors know the special kind of torture involved in staring at the blank page just waiting for those first words to come. There is a reason George Lucas called it bleeding on the page. But those skills you will find will always be needed. I can't tell you how many times in my career that I tell people I majored in English and they say, man, I wish I had majored in that. I rarely hear an English major say they wish they'd majored in finance. What I do hear is people in finance saying, we need people who can write, and we need people who can communicate. And that's where we get the seat at the table at that point. As English majors, we have been encouraged to read and synthesize. That always seemed like a pretty good deal to me as a student. I could read a book and they give you my opinion for credit. Where do I sign up? But we do so much more than just read or write. We are explainers, we're persuaders, we're storytellers. So let me tell you a little bit about my own experience. What I learned to do here was great practice for politics and policy. My first job was working in the United States Senate. I'm not a lawyer, but I have written laws. I am not a politician, but I've written policy. How? Because I can read, I can look stuff up, I can cross-reference, and everyone get ready for this one, I can read a citation that sends me to the correct source for things. I have written congressional record report language that directs Congress on intent. This is how we intend for you to read this law, and this is how we intend for you to spend this money. And then I have written my boss's statement to go to the floor of the Senate and explain what he was doing and why. This is what we do. We look stuff up. We analyze. We write. We discuss. We persuade. We tell stories. So now, as someone with an English degree, there was a time in my life when I thought I wanted to be a novelist, or at least a great fiction writer, whether it was a novel or a children's book, or ideally someone at DC Comics was going to hire me to write Batman. That did not work out. I found out to my dismay I could not plot. My one story I submitted to Conception Southwest, I think in 1988, was rightly rejected. What I found out later is if I did write a story, I found out it was a plot from an earlier classic. I would write something, I'd slave for a week, I would hand it to someone to read, and they would say, this is the Count of Monte Cristo, right? So I gave up on fiction. But I found out from my time here, and from my time as a Hill staffer, that I was a pretty good researcher and a pretty good explainer. And that's what we do as English majors. That is the recipe for nonfiction. It's the recipe for history. It's the recipe for biography. It's the recipe for great storytelling. Great nonfiction, as I've discovered, is often better, weirder, and more entertaining than fiction. Now, I've also had people ask me, how did you figure out how to get published? And my answer is, get ready for this, I read it in a book. That's something else we do. We know how to look stuff up. We are the people who read the instruction manuals. We fix stuff. We're problem solvers. So keep reading, keep writing, keep telling stories, keep looking stuff up, keep solving problems. And when you get asked that inevitable question, and you will get asked it, an English degree, what are you going to do with that? You tell them anything I want. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jones. And we will actually keep Brian Jones in the limelight just a minute longer, because it is my great privilege and honor to award him the English Department's Distinguished Alumnus and Friend of English Award. And here you go. And if you would like to chat with Mr. Jones, you should stay for the reception, because I'm sure he has a lot more interesting things to tell us as well. Now I'm going to hand over the mic to Professor Dan Müller, the Associate Chair for Graduate Studies, who will announce the graduate awards. And then if you are in the audience, please stand up and Susan will get your award to you. And if she can't reach you because you're in the middle somewhere, then find her afterwards. So here you go, Dan.
Hi everyone, can you hear me? Yeah, okay. I'm Daniel Mueller, as Chair Obermeyer said. I'm the Associate Chair for Graduate Studies in English, and I teach in the creative writing program, fiction mainly, and it's my great honor and and pleasure to announce the winners of this year's graduate awards. We have two winners of the Russell J. and Dorothy S. Belinsky Dissertation Completion Fellowship. They are Kalila Basali and Emily. And the second winner is Emily Reef. This year's winner of the Buchanan Arms Award in English is Sarah Flores. This year's winner of the Graduate Student Award in Rhetoric and Writing is Sunny Klotchis Chiligi. This year's winner of the Hillerman McGarity Scholarship in Creative Writing is Vera Klein. We have two recipients of the Howard Dean Everett Scholarship, and they are Kimberly Blake and Madeline Mendoza. The winner of the Mary M. McDonald Scholarship Fund is Avery Bash. And the winner of the Phyllis Flanders Dorset Scholarship in English Literature is Haley Bonner. And finally, the recipient of the Rodolfo Anaya Fellowship in Creative Writing is Ruben Miranda Juarez.
Thank you so much, Professor Müller. For anybody who wasn't here, I'm putting a stop order on the check. No, just kidding. So now we're handing over to Professor Diane Thiel, the Associate Chair for Undergraduate Study, who will announce the undergraduate awards and honors thesis. And the same thing goes for Susan. We'll hand them out.
Congratulations, everyone. And it's my great pleasure to announce the undergraduate awards. We have quite a few of these. We have the Bank of America Undergraduate Student Award, which is given for a student studying rhetoric and writing with a concentration in professional writing. And the recipient of this is Miriam Reichsfeld. We have the Bank of America Returning Student Award, which is for returning students studying rhetoric and writing with a concentration in professional writing, and the recipient is Gareth Ripple. We have three Dale and Ivan Milada endowed scholarships. These recognize the exceptional achievements in professional writing, and these awards go to Leah Livingston, Sophia Puglia Henry, and AJ Wood. And we have two Elsie Fraley DeMoss and James DeMoss scholarships. These support undergraduate scholarship and research in honors English. And the recipients, we have two of these, are Ethan Ward and Spencer Wilden. The Hillerman McGarity Scholarship in Creative Writing seeks to recognize students whose writing shows exceptional promise. In honor of the endowment's founders, the late Tony Hillerman and mystery writer Michael McGarity, both longtime residents of New Mexico. And the recipient of this award is Robin Babb. The Howard Dean Everett Scholarship encourages academic work among Native American students majoring in English, and the recipient of this award is Eldrick Toya. The Irene B. Kimball Endowed Scholarship is an award that encourages the study of literature, and this award goes to Tanya Tyler. The Joseph B. Zavadil Memorial Scholarship is an award for undergraduate study of English medieval literature, and this award recipient is Madison Hogans. The Catherine M. Sims Award, which is an award for a composition or work on any subject related to New Mexico, and the recipient of this award is Savannah Phelps. The Catherine G. Simons Scholarship in English supports deserving undergraduate students who are successfully pursuing a course of study in the Department of English and particularly focusing on Shakespeare. This award recipient is Leslie Molina. The Linda Gale and Arthur John Brender Endowed Scholarship supports students in the English department, and the recipient is Ariel Menendez. The Rodolfo Anaya Folklore Scholar Award awards for achievement to a student studying New Mexico folklore, Southwestern literature, or regional literature, and the recipient is Danica Lee. The Reba Roots Beetleman Memorial Endowed Scholarship is awarded to a graduating senior who will be pursuing an English graduate degree, and the recipient is Luke Shepard. The Virginia Fultz Scholarship seeks to recognize New Mexico students who major in a subject within the Department of English Language and Literature, either full or part-time, and in need of financial aid. And the recipients are two, Raquel Barcena and Samantha Ramirez. We also have a wonderful poetry award. That's my area. I'm a creative writer and an author of books of poetry. And this award is an annual prize given for an outstanding poem. And there are first, second, and third place. And it was from a generous gift from Karen McKinnon. So the 7th annual Karen McKinnon Poetry Awards, the winners are, in third place, Elijah Padilla for another poem about autumn and death. In second place, we have Fia Smith for Tomorrow I Will Pour You Out. And first place, Tessa Keenan for Facets.